Greetings everyone, SoulFlameDance98 back at it with another one of Carniex's Digimon videos. I almost did the blasphemy thing. Anyway, let's see what we do here as we do Best of Custom Armor Digimon Evolutions. So looking forward to seeing what happens here as we're going to the next part. We just got done with the movie armor, so I'm trying to remember what the next part is.
For existing Digimon, but what about taking armored Digimon and digivolving them further? And our first
find the ultimate form, I guess.
A Digimon that is going to digivolve further is Halsamon, who I recruited Capney for, and its ultimate level is Wajatmon. This references Wajat, or the Eye of Horus, as Halsamon, or Holsmon in Japan, comes from Horus, the Egyptian god. Wajatmon is like a fighter pilot with a radar scope helping it identify enemies across endless skies. It has found great joy and adoration from others, and in itself radiates love for protecting the skies. Capney took a really interesting direction with this, I think, keeping that semi-armored feel of Halsamon, but adding more fighter pilot / fighter jet vibes. I think it works very well. And
the fact that it looks like a hippogriff or griffin works well too.
It does keep up some of that Horus Falcon imagery from the Egyptian side of things. Though I would argue that Halsamon is probably the least Egyptian feeling Digimon in 02, especially when we got Nefertimon. We'll get to that. Then Wajatmon will digivolve further to its mega level, Ramon. Coming from Ra, a god higher up than Horus, but both based on birds and very similar looking deities. I know Ramon kinda sounds like ramen, grow up! However, if you just can't get over Ramon being a name, I think Heliomon would also work. Coming from Heliopolis, the city of the sun, a major city of ancient Egypt, as the cult of Nevis Bull, an embodiment of Ra, had it as its center. Heliomon is powered by an engine of pure burning love. While its appearance may be intimidating, it is gentle and caring to its chosen child and any who it considers allies. Then we move over to Shurimon, who digivolves to its ultimate level, Roninmon.
Ooh, I love it.
A Ronin is a drifter or wanderer, a type of samurai who had no lord or master, and in some cases had also severed all links with his family or clan. It is said that...
Yep, I love it. You know me, I'm a big sucker for samurai, so that is good. I love it. I need that as my partner.
Roninmon digivolve further due to its severed connection with its chosen child, possibly due to the human and digital world becoming disconnected. Roninmon now travels the digital world, assisting the weak and fighting off bandits, thieves, and vagabonds. Its determination is pure and sincere, and it can deliver devastating slashes with its many leaf katana. I think Fuzzy really delivered on the promise of Shurimon here, upgrading it to more of a samurai. The plant helmet looks absolutely fantastic, and I still like that it keeps a shuriken on its belt, not forgetting its time as a ninja. Though with time, Roninmon could digivolve, eventually becoming Daimyomon, also drawn by Fuzzy.
Love that design. Daimyomon. I love it. And the 7-branch sword. Nice.
Comics. After many years, the pain of Roninmon's heart was healed, perhaps reunited with its chosen child or simply forging a clan of its own. Daimyomon became a powerful leader, matched only by how powerful of a warrior it is. As one who grew used to being alone, Daimyomon now holds its loved ones as more important than its own life, a pure kind of love. It will fight sincerely until the bitter end for those it holds dearest. With a barrage of weapons, though appearing steely, actually formed from incredibly layered digital plant life. Every element of Daimyomon comes from its own body, whether that be its wooden plant-like armor or its flowing grass hair. Fuzzy just absolutely delivered with this guy. It brings together everything we like about Shurimon in my opinion, adds the elements that came in from Roninmon, and even has some of those red bits which feel very Hawkmon. Especially looking at this headpiece here and the under armor, it still feels like a Hawkmon evolution. But what of Digmon? Well, Fuzzy Comics is still on board. Learning from its time as Digmon, Drillamon was born. From a Digmon that ran...
I like it. Gives you like this stag beetle on steroids kind of thing.
Endless calculations on underground logistics. Now in a much more enhanced form, Drillamon helps forge new underground paths, railways, and more in the human and digital worlds. It's also excellent at battle and is something of a Professor Hulk of the digital world. Softly spoken but a tireless worker, said to always be inventing new, practical ways to help others. I really like how much Fuzzy dug into the drills and excavation aesthetic of Digmon, giving it these bigger wings, and also to me very much evoking Atla Kabuterimon, which is very appropriate for the Knowledge Crest and Knowledge Digi-Egg. Still feels very Digmon to me though, which I like a lot. But Drillamon will eventually exceed even its own expectations, digivolving to Excavamon. Knowledge truly is power for this beast. The zenith of mechanical engineering, Excavamon is as smart as it is powerful. Every inch of it can continue its important excavation work, but also is tuned for battle. Its mere presence is enough to intimidate most Digimon to
I mean, I'm just looking at it, I'm intimidated, man. I don't want to face this thing in a fight.
Run away. But that terrifying exterior betrays a kind, patient, and reserved personality. When not working, it often lets child-level Digimon use it as a climbing frame, and
wasn't expecting that part of the lore, but hey, you do you.
Takes great delight in burying its sharp edges in the dirt to keep the children safe while they play. I think Fuzzy had a really hard task here to make something befitting of Digmon and Excavamon as a mega and delivered with aplomb. It reminds me very specifically of Tyrant Kabuterimon. It almost feels like it could be a fusion of Tyrant Kabuterimon and Hercules Kabuterimon. Again, very appropriate for the crest of...
I could say that, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Knowledge. It's this big hulking beast, but I did want it to have a soft side, very much like both Izzy and, importantly, Cody, and it definitely feels like a Digimon Mega. I love it. Now let's look to see. As Submarimon was burdened with a sincere need to be reliable, knowing it needed the ability to shepherd more than one chosen child through the deep oceans, it digivolved to Submersimon, a larger submersible vehicle adept at underwater combat, but also
Hey Mark, Subnautica called. They got something to help you fight those ghost leviathans. He says he's not interested.
taking a small group of chosen children and their partners across the seas at great speed. Submersimon was drawn by Dry, and feels very much in a similar wheelhouse to Belugamon, which we created for the Digimon Tamers DNA Digivolution video. I
gotta check that out.
Absolutely adore this. You can definitely see how it's a Digivolution of Submarimon. It also evokes other underwater Digimon. Obviously, there's some Plesiomon in there. And while it is fully armored, those golden elements and the purples and whites still make it feel like it could come from Armadillomon. Great work, Dry. The seas of the digital and human world get treacherous, especially in frozen vistas, which is why Submersimon rose to the task to become this dutiful Digimon. Now a complete icebreaker ship of a Digimon, Icebreakermon is wizened and eager to be relied on, and is a titan of a vehicle Digimon, capable of carrying over 100 humans or Digimon and delivering devastating
How big is this guy? 100 people in that thing? Jesus!
impact on blockades, whether they be ice, mountains, or another Digimon. This is so fantastic to me. It really reminds me of things like Frozomon. The sort of mustache and ice make it look quite old, which very much works for me. Makes me think of Vikemon in particular up front, but still again a Submarimon evolution through and through. And it even has that Deep Savers logo, the dolphin on its back. But what about the leader of the group, Davis? Yes, Flamedramon's burning courage has overflowed, creating Flaredramon, drawn by Weirdomon. Now wielding a much more powerful claw, flaming wings, and a fiery blaster that can easily burn any opponent to a crisp. Flaredramon is afraid of nothing and takes to the skies to deliver a barrage of fire rockets. Weirdomon, I think, delivered once again a quintessential Digimon design in Flaredramon. The wings are a really nice touch, I think, something that the base Flaredramon definitely feels like it has been stepped up for with its ultimate level, and the mix of weaponry really fits. Plus, I like the little shoulder blades with the Greymon, or at least Greymon style, really ties back nicely to the Crest of Courage. But with its heat turned up to the maximum, Flaredramon digivolves to Magmadramon, also drawn by Weirdomon. This courageous knight over
I could see that being part of the Holy Knight group, honestly. That's a nice match to Greydmon, Magnamon, Dukemon, all those guys.
overflows with fire of many kinds. Now carrying twin lances of flaming justice, Magmadramon is a contender for the 14th Royal Knight, a dragon of mythical standing and a knight of duty and honor. Magmadramon disappears in the blink of an eye, reappearing in the stratosphere above its enemies, ready to deliver a Bahamut-esque fire satellite that rains down destructive fire upon them. Yeah, this is fantastic. I think it makes a ton of sense that Flamedramon's mega level would take some more humanoid cues from more Greymon. I know people aren't always fond of humanoid megas for dragon-like Digimon, but Flamedramon's already pretty humanoid anyway. Also definitely has some vibes of Shine Greymon with those wings, but I like that you can see again the Greymon shoulder pads. It just makes sense. It really feels like it could stand toe-to-toe with all these Greymon species, which is great as a Vmon Courage Armor Digivolution Mega. But what of Rydramon? Well, it would digivolve to Raimedramon. Raime is the Japanese word for thunderclap, and Rydramon's loyalty becomes apparent as it becomes somewhere between a dragon mount and a faithful canine companion, evoking similar aesthetics to its crest forebearer Garuramon. Raimedramon is a friend to the bitter end, striking from the darkness at any who would seek to hurt its companions. Fuzzy absolutely delivered with this one. I love how it kind of compromises the more dragon half of Rydramon with its Garuramon inspiration. It feels like a really great mix of dragon and wolf. Still totally a mount that Davis could use, which works great, but also just tuned up to 11. A little bit of wings going on, which is great. I could definitely see it soaring through the skies alongside like Nefertimon and Pegasusmon, for example. It feels like a tuned up vehicle. It actually kind of has some Miraidon and Koraidon vibes, which I'm very much into. But with its friendship turned up to maximum, Raimedramon becomes Rakurai-Dramon. Rakurai is the Japanese word for thunderbolt, and this Digimon is now clearly a relative of a Zulongmon. Rakurai-Dramon is surrounded by the taiko drums of the god Raijin, which it uses to beat out insanely loud thunderclaps that destroy the ears of its enemies, before swooping down and surging through them with the power of 1,000 thunderbolts. Incredibly loyal and endlessly reliable, Rakurai-Dramon is a companion you can always rely on and never want to let down. Yeah.
No kidding! I don't want to have that guy feel like I betrayed him in any way. Ooh, boy.
Fuzzy nailed this one. Total inspiration from the Garuramon and Crest of Friendship, but also folding in new elements from Raijin, and cementing a little bit that connection between the Crest of Friendship and a Zulongmon. So another Thunder or Electric Dragon in that pantheon tying into a Zulongmon and the Digiega Friendship felt real good to me. Plus Taiko Drums, who doesn't love those? Then that brings us to the last two Digimon that Armor Digivolved in 02, beginning with Pegasusmon. And I thought it was important to lean into Pegasusmon's nature as Pegasus, the Greek steed and also the constellation, which led Dry to digivolve him to Capricornmon. Capricornmon expands on the steed nature of Pegasusmon, now with wheels and an aquatic tail, functioning as an all-terrain chariot of the gods, specifically Aegiomon, who it is a lifelong companion with. Dry wanted to do a unifying Digivolution for all the Hope armors while still keeping a zodiac or constellation theme, Capricorn being a mythical sea goat from Greek mythology and also the name of a constellation, and that tied to Aegiomon, well, we'll explain that in just a minute, because Capricornmon, full of hope for the future, digivolves to its mega, Belleromon. This is a thunderbolt carrier of the Digimon god, Jupitermon of the Olympos 12, and its personal chariot, though it is not just a vehicle. Belleromon is more than capable of fighting by itself and can even use Jupitermon's hammers in battle. It is named after Bellerophon, Pegasus's original rider in Greek mythology. Yeah, Dry knocked this one out of the park. And that finally brings us to Gatomon, or Nefertimon to be specific, who Dry digivolved to Sphinxmon. Sphinxmon is a puppet Digimon, similar to Chohakaimon, who was originally an angel species that was banished from heaven. It now roams the digital world, defeating evil with its Khopesh swords. It is uncertain if this path will lead to darkness in ancient Sphinxmon, or back to the light. So Dry wanted to try and include every light armor evolution into the ultimate, Sphinxmon, but he also decided to be a little bit cheeky and go with a Sphinx cat as the base. Since Nefertimon and ancient Sphinxmon are already full-on Sphinxes, it might get a little bit repetitive. I do like that he moved a little bit away from the steed vibe. I don't think Kari necessarily needs it, and there's plenty of other vehicles in our armor lineup now. And this does feel definitely like it could be an evolution of Gatomon. It has some Sylphimon things going on, a little bit of Bastemon going on maybe, and even some Anjuwamon if you kind of squint. Great work from Dry. But if it fully commits to the light and does not get tempted by the darkness, I also really like the idea that it could become ancient Sphinxmon potentially, because ancient Sphinxmon is the ancient warrior of darkness. Koichi represented the spirit of darkness, and his brother Koji represented light. So I like that kind of Frontier 02 connection there. Anyway, fully committed to the path of light, Sphinxmon would digivolve to Hathormon. Hathormon is the embodiment of light in the metaphorical sense, crest and digimental, a beacon of guidance even in the darkest days, and is said to have created many rulers of life and death that reside in the digital world. Hathor again is a goddess from Egyptian mythology and is associated with a lot of rituals from motherhood to the afterlife, and is also sometimes described as the mistress of the stars, which is a great fit for a light digivolution tied into Egypt. Again, a lot of really cool stuff going on here. I like the cosmic elements Dry included and the big light ball on the head. Feels like it could again be a digivolution of Bastemon, which works nicely, one of the picks I liked in the first video, and also very true to Gatomon, I think. A great Nefertimon evolution, and feels like it could be some kind of melding of the ideals of Ophanimon and Magnadramon, but in a much more Egyptian outlook. Really think Dry absolutely delivered here. I love it. It feels very unique to anything else in the Gatomon family. And that is it. All of our further Armadigivolutions of Armadigimon we saw in Digimon Adventure 02. Buchimon was not included here, and neither were the non-02 armors, which Buchimon technically is one of. However, if you really like this concept, I think we might explore it more in future. What would the other Armadigimon look like if they digivolve further, the non-02 Armadigivolutions? Anyway, let me know your favorites in the comments down below. Please be respectful. Don't be a dick. The artists are putting a lot of work here. Huge shout out to my sovereigns, It's Elementaries, EDK14, and Jamon, all of the members you can see on
That's a lot of comments
right now for supporting the channel with the hard-earned money. They're the absolute goats. I really appreciate you so goddamn much. Yeah, I'm about to travel home from MCM London Comic Con when this goes out, so if I saw you there, hope it went well. But otherwise, I will see you next time when we go digital. Bye-bye. It's recent territory. Now it's time for us to Dark Digivolve Armadigimon. Another video.
Okay, we'll save this for the next one, but dang, that was a lot of fun Ultimate Megas. I won't forget Roninmon. That looked fun. And the Daimyomon. Oh, I love the samurai aesthetic. Anyway, you guys take care. I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Please leave a comment, subscribe, like down below, and we can keep on growing this channel, reaching more people with this fun Toku and Digimon stuff. And also, of course, the Pokemon. Can't forget the Pokemon. You guys take care. I'll see you around. Bye.